Antlers Deep Podcast.
All right, guys. Hey, thank y'all for watching Antlers Deep Podcast and tuning in. We're going to get started here. And before we get started, we'll always put God first. And we're going to let Devin say a verse for us real quick, and we'll let him take the reins from here.
All right, so it's good to be on tonight. Let us know where you're watching from. If you're on there, I put a comment out. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but let us know. Donald White said he's watching from his recliner. That's a good place to watch. But yeah, let's dig into this thing. So I wanted to talk about just for a minute about Psalms 42. And here's what it says. It says, "As a deer pants for flowing stream, so pants my soul for you, O God. My soul thirsts for God." And I don't know, I'm sure you guys have seen this before, but especially during the rut, man, when you got these bucks that have been driving after these does all the time, and I've seen them come into water sources, man, with their mouth open, and that's all that they're focusing on is getting to that water at the time. And I just think that's a good picture of, kind of how that our lives, how that our posture towards God should be, how that we're, focused on what God wants for our lives, and just uplifting Him in everything that we do. I talk about worship, and I lead worship in church and things, but worship is so much more than just a song. Mm-hmm. We can worship God in everything that we do, from our jobs to the way we hunt, the way, everything that we do, we can worship God. So that's all I got. I'm excited.
All right, that's awesome. Hey, that's our memo here at Antlers Deep, is always put God first. It's God, family, and outdoors. We'll get started, like I said, on our first episode. I always want to put God first before we do anything and go forward. So I had a lot of questions that says, how did Antlers Deep start? So I'm going to tell y'all exactly how I came up with Antlers Deep. And it was on a Saturday, and I was actually reading my Bible, sitting in my bed, and it was off season, and I was watching Hunting Channel, and as I was watching the Hunting Channel, I was watching this guy on there, and he was talking about God and hunting. And I was like, man, that is cool. That is awesome. I said, that'd be cool to do something like that. And y'all might know his name's Jeff Danker, and he's on the Sportsman's Channel and the Hunting Channel. He's out there, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna try to do something like that, which I didn't have the name Antlers Deep Outdoors figured out yet. I just knew that I was gonna do something like that, and I was gonna put God out there and put Him first. So I don't know if Robert remembers this, but I actually went to Robert's house, and I'm sitting there, we're talking. I said, Robert, what do you think about filming hunts and being Christian based? And he just looked at me and said, huh? And so I was like, yeah. I said, how about we start filming our hunts and putting God out there? He said, okay. And he looked at me dead serious. He said, what are you going to call it? I said, I ain't got that far yet, Robert.
That's true.
So I was like, just sitting there for about 5 minutes and dead silence. I just looked at him and said, I'm going to call it Antlers Deep Outdoors. And that's how it originally started. And he was like, okay, all right. So we started the process. That was back in November 2018. And I was like, how can I incorporate guys in this? And it took me this long to pick the guys that I wanted to be part of Antlers Deep, because I wanted to be something special. I wanted something God led me to pick. And that's how each individual on this team became part of Antlers Deep. And which I knew Nathaniel ever since he was a baby. I knew Zach. I ain't going to say anything, but he went to J.J. Kelly, so... but I played sports against him all the time. And Devin, I knew him because we grew up in the same church, on Guest River Pentecostal Church. And we actually played sports together all our lives. We graduated the same year, even though senior year he went to Powder Valley. I ain't gonna hold it against him or anything. But and then of course when Robert, he probably won't want me to say this, but Robert's actually my wife's cousin, by the way. Y'all don't know that, okay? And if my wife's watching, I'm sorry I snitched y'all out, okay? I apologize for that. But so that's how I was like, all right. And I slowly, wanted to take my time and choose and pick, and I wanted guys who's going to take it seriously, don't mind putting God first, and enjoy the outdoors, and that's how we became part of it. And so we're going to move on, and let's talk about our first time hunting and stuff. And so, Dad, let's start with you. Like, what got you into hunting? Like, who taught you how to hunt? Like, what age was you when you started? Tell the fans how you got into hunting.
Well, I've been in the woods as long as I can remember with my papa and my uncles. They're the ones who, invested their time in me and took me hunting and stuff. But my real first hunting trip, I guess you'd say, I was 10. And my family, back then, we didn't have the quality deer around here that you do now.
Right.
And my family, we always took a trip to Bath County every year during the week of Thanksgiving. And so I was 10 years old. My uncle invited me to go with him, and so we went, and Mom got me a 7-mag, my first rifle, and we went. And I'll just briefly tell that we found, it was doe day up there, so you could kill a doe. That's what I was after. They was like, we'll let you kill the does. That sounds great. So we seen a little spike crossing the field. We moved to a place where we thought he was going to come through, and he come through a little quicker before we got set up, and there was no cover around us. And Brandon, my cousin, he said, take a rest off my shoulder. So he puts his hands up like this to cover his ears. And I got that rifle stuck on my shoulder. It's not very safe. I'm not going to promote that. But anyway, it was, I shot and killed it. So that was what I consider my first hunting trip, 10 years old, Bath County. And what happens in Bath County stays in Bath County.
That's that Northern Virginia stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, how'd you start?
My first actual hunting experience, I don't know if I can remember it all. The first time I was ever in the woods, we had, similar to Devon there, we used to go to Bath County and Rockbridge County. We have a house in Rockbridge County, and every year that I can ever remember, we spent our Thanksgivings there. And so it was, growing up as just something that you did and you wanted to start doing was going hunting with Dad in Bath County. So I had begged, I don't know how old I was, maybe 7 years old or so. I'd been begging for the last few years to go with him. Well, one day he came in at lunch, and I guess he hadn't been seeing anything much or anything. And there was some woods, some national forest right behind the house that we have there. And so he said, let's go up in here and see what we can see. And I can't remember if it was bow season or gun season. I don't even know. But we walked maybe 150 yards behind the house there, and we sat down on an old log there, and I could hear something coming in behind us, and I was like, Dad, is that a deer? He was like, I don't know, it's something. It was through the leaves, And so we kind of get turned around, and we're sitting there waiting, and sure enough, here comes our dog, Kelsey. She was chocolate laugh. She come right through us, and so we loved on her a minute, and we just turned around and walked back to the house. But I probably hunted 6 or 8 years before I ever killed a deer. And we used to have a big lease over there in Pam, and I was 12 years old. It was first week or first day of rifle season, and Dad and I had found some sign and stuff and went back to it, and sure enough, a little scraggly horn buck come trotting up through there, and just happened to stop right in the right spot, and I let him have it. first deer I ever killed. I'm like I said, I'm pretty sure I was 12 years old, and it's been all uphill from there. It's been hard.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How'd you get started then?
Well, growing up, I was always outside and never really had any interest in hunting until I was about probably 10 or 11. Honestly, seeing you and Cody going hunting all the time, because you're about 6-7 years older than me. So my Uncle Ronnie took me, and we got up real early, about 4:30 during rifle season. And back in those days, you'd only go hunting once or twice a year during gun season on the weekend. And my first hunt, I did a lot more moving than anything, and real cold and fidgeting, and the only thing I saw that day was a skunk. And
that was a stinky day.
Luckily I didn't spook it or anything, but then after that, you and Cody would have been grown, so y'all, pretty much just hunted with you and Cody from then on out, and I didn't kill a deer until I was 21, so didn't really know what we were doing for a while, but we, I feel like we're getting it dialed in now, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I still don't know what I'm doing.
Hey, if you don't learn something every time you're out there, you ain't doing it right.
That's
right.
true. That's true.
Let's hear it, Zach.
I'm a little different. I cut my teeth hunting turkeys.
Okay.
So I really didn't get into deer hunting probably until I was in 8th grade, maybe. And a little different from these guys. Most of my hunting was none of my family deer hunted. My family turkey hunted. I just grew up turkey hunting with my papa's brother, great uncle, and I remember a lot of mornings. You know, and I was a really young boy. He would just come bang on the. They lived beside of us, and he would bang on the door to get me up to go in the fall and in the spring. And man, I started loving it. And to this day, I still, if I had to choose one, I would pick spring turkey hunting over deer season.
Really?
It just gets me excited. But
Yeah.
as far as deer hunting goes, I got into that pretty good in 8th grade, and similar to you guys, I never, there weren't any deer around here to hunt back then.
Right.
If you saw one, you were lucky.
Yeah.
But we used to go to Smith County, and I went with a buddy and his parents, and there was a group of guys that we used to go up there with that were all older than us, and they took us out and kind of showed us what to do. But I can remember the first deer I killed. I can't remember the first deer hunt exactly, but I can remember my first deer for several reasons. One, when you're that young, and I guess they're trying to throw you in the deep end. They let you out of the truck and tell you which way to go.
Right.
and,
Yeah.
And at that point, you're still scared to death of every sound in the dark. But I really remember that I was walking through a cow pasture, and I don't know if anybody's been through a cow pasture after the cows have been eating that fermented corn, what they call it, silage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nightmare for a man with a weak stomach. But I remember that morning to this day, and I've never been able to drive by a silage patch since then. But I remember as a doe, I'd sat there all morning, and I watched it. There was 2 or 3 does that came in above me on the ridge, and I watched them walk left to right, and it was deer muzzleloading season. And 50, 60 yard shot, and she just ran over the hill and piled up, and I was terrified. I was scared to death that I'd killed a deer.
You're right.
And what do I do now? But luckily, I had some good mentors that came, and we took care of it. And ever since that, though, I've been hooked on it.
That's awesome. Go ahead, Robert.
First,
Robert said he killed all these on his first day.
it's a true story.
You steal some nice ones in.
I was introduced to the outdoors by my dad. He actually would load up a bunch of diapers in a bag and carry me through the woods squirrel hunting.
Well, that's awesome.
Then from there, rat, squirrel, rabbit. Started deer hunting probably when I was about 8 or 9.
Okay.
Started using a Ruger carbine 44 mag. Killed my first one. I think I was 9 years old. Shot it. Went to go get my dad to help me track it. 2 older guys actually seen it drop, picked it up and carried it to a thicket where they gutted it and took it back to their cabin. We still able to track it, but
Well, hey,
You got your first deal stolen from you?
yes.
Devin said he wasn't that old. He wasn't an older guy.
Used to took a lot of trips up to Buckingham with shotgun only. Had a lot of good times with my dad up there until he passed away, and I haven't been back since. Stayed around here hunting. Killed a few. Remember a lot of stuff he taught me about hunting. He was darn good at it.
That's awesome. Well, I guess it's my turn. I got into hunting, I guess, I was 13, 14, I guess. And, I come from a family like nobody where I live or here don't hunt. My dad, everybody knows he's from Alabama, and they rabbit hunt in Alabama, but he's never, they didn't deer hunt. So when he come up here, he had some friends that used to take him, and I remember just begging, like, Dad, let me go. I'm like, no. And then finally, my godfather, Tommy Newchester, he actually went to church with us, Devin. He was like, I'll take him hunting when I was about 13, 14 years old. I said, all right. I got so excited. Well, I didn't have no camo clothes or anything like that. So my dad, y'all probably remember this, but back in the day, they had those blue overalls, like jumpsuits. And it was insulated like crap inside, right? So what I done was, I said, Dad, can I borrow your cover? He said, yeah. So I put like 2 or 3 pairs of sweatpants because it was in the winter. You know, I didn't know. I was trying to prepare, you know. So I put 2 or 3 pairs of sweatpants on, you know, 4 or 5 shirts and put that on there. I was like, I ain't getting cold today. And here's what's really funny. I had a pair of Tim's on, okay? Timberland boots on. All right, so here we go. Yeah, I had to. So we went to...
Some Timberlands on right now.
I ain't gonna judge you. I love them. But so we went and we went hunting. Well, you know, the pain hit me. I ain't talking about number 1, okay? Talking about number 2, okay? The pain hit me. Well, I was like, well, what do? He said, well, you just gotta pick a tree and go use it. So I was like, it's my first time hunting. I gotta use a bathroom here. And I said, well, I ain't bringing no toilet paper, so I got some. So he gave me a robe. Well, I didn't think in my head that I had to take all these clothes off, all right? So I'm sitting here running and trying to do the wiggle to get these coveralls off of me and get all this stuff down. So that was really the first time I actually went. Didn't kill anything, so I probably stunk with the whole woods, but it happens, okay? So the second time was in Scott County. People don't know my golfer is about 6'4", 6'5", and obviously I'm not the tallest person, so you know my one step is like a 5 to his. And we went up this ridge, and I felt like our knees was touching the ridge as we was climbing, and we kept going, and he was a little ahead of me, probably about 15 yards. And we finally got up there. He said, "You're all right?" And I'm huffing and puffing and pouring sweat. I said, "Yeah, I'm all right." Freezing. It was cold. And he said, "Here." And he gave me his hunting jacket to keep me warm. And all of a sudden, we hear these shots on the other side of the ridge. And he said, that might be a good sign. So I'm sitting here watching this ridge, and I can see him. There's about 4 or 5 does, and I can see a little butt coming. I said, oh, there's deer. And I got something. He's like, shh, be quiet, you know. So had a 30-06, all right? And deer comes down. They work their way down this ridge, and I took a shot. Well, nobody told me that 30-06, you know, punches like a grown man at 13, 14 years old. And that's how I got started when I killed my first deer, little button buck. And ever since then, it's just been on. I love it. I love hunting. I love the outdoors. And I give my godfather, Tom Winchester, every credit for, you know, taking me and showing me how to hunt and showing me the outdoors. Because if it wasn't for him introducing me to outdoors, who knows, you know, when I would have got to have a chance to do that. And it kind of bothered me when I was little too, because when I was in school, you know, I heard a lot of people, you know, talking about how they went hunting with their, you know, godfathers or grandparents or something like that, or their dads and stuff like that. And, you know, I never had that opportunity until I got at that age and stuff. And I didn't know what it meant, you know, to pass down a tradition like that. And so now that most of us here, me, Devin, well, sorry, you're not dad yet, and Zach have had kids, 2 cats, the cats. But, you know, yeah, cats hunt.
Lethal, man.
But, you know, watching Devin take his little boy out and, you know, him killing his first deer this year, you know, really brought back a lot of memories and stuff of how we first started and stuff. And he don't realize what he's learning right now, and it's going to, you know, incorporate in him when he gets older like we are and stuff. So that's how my trip went and stuff. And nobody better not be laughing about my coveralls. My coveralls, all right? It
Got a few comments.
Let's go. All right, let's hear these comments.
I guess this is Amanda said, "Oh, good Lord, Lamar." But you also got people watching from Muscle Shoals, Alabama.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to my family, Muscle Shoals, my grandma, Aunt Rose, Aunt Shirley. That's actually my dad's family down there. So we got people from all the way from Alabama watching this, and it's just a blessing to have people like that and have that support system that people want to see you succeed and stuff like that. Because, you know, in this time and world and stuff like that, there's so much hate going around and everything. People don't want people succeed or do good in life, and, you know, they try to tear people down and stuff like that. So it's good to see people from other states supporting, you know, you, and no matter if you're family or not, you know, supporting what you're doing and stuff. And like I said, we're just trying to put golf first and keep it moving. What's another question?
Your mom said you was so nervous when you first went hunting.
I was first. I was really nervous. I didn't know what to expect, man. No, I don't know. I mean, it's first time. I mean, look, I had 4 or 5 pairs of sweatpants on coveralls. I mean, how nervous can you be right there? So
I'm pretty sure you had that many clothes on when we took him spring turkey hunting this year.
hey, listen, I did not. But here's the exact thing about spring hunting. His memos. we gotta get on top of them. Am I right, Will? Gotta get on top of them. So you might crawl all the way up to the top of High Knob and not see a turkey, but as long as we're on top, we're good.
Yeah.
You know, but
Get to the top, it's all the way downhill from me.
it was good times. Though. We had a good time.
She said you was shaking all the pieces.
I was when I killed my first deer. When I say buck fever, I did not know what that meant.
Yeah.
But that first deer killed, literally, I was like shaking like this. There's no way like I could have done anything else after that. Like, it's a experience. If you haven't killed your first deer and you go deer hunting and you kill a deer, I want you to look at one of us six and say, I don't know what buck fever is, because I can honestly say if you killed a deer, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It happens.
I'll say this, what you was talking about a minute ago, about people taking us. This year, like I said, the boys that went with me, on our lease and, years past, but this is the first year we've actually hunted, I was telling them, first year I've not killed a deer in a while because taking them, I don't know if I was that loud walking through the woods or not, but it sounded like a tribe of wild animals coming through the woods when we come. So, and then I never really I always wondered why that they would never let me and my cousin hunt together, and it was because of us fighting. And my boys fought. We went turkey hunting, and there's no way they would sit there. Gideon we hadn't bought him a good hunting coat yet, so he was just wearing like a snow coat, and so he would move every time he moved. But anyway, it was a full circle moment this year, watching my kids, and I'd rather see them get one any day, than me get one. It's a wonderful thing. So.
That's awesome. Let's talk about for the ones that bow hunt. Let's talk about your first bow kill. Like, incorporate that. How did that first kill go with your bow? Zach's over here is like, I got a story for you.
A while back, I know Robert probably remembers it. I had a Darton Lightning. Remember that bow?
I do.
The cables were actually cable.
Yeah, that was my first bow. Was cable.
And I had to be in middle school, and I had a tree stand that was one of those climbers that you face the tree when you climb up. Real safe, I don't even think we wore harnesses in a plywood seat. But my first bow kill was a bear, and scared me to death. But
Seems to be a trend.
I had 5 or 6. I wish I still had that thing. I had 5 or 6 different aluminum arrows, 5 or 6 different broadheads on them, and not every one of them cut different lengths. But it was fun, man. We thought back in the day, you had the metal pins that were a big bracket that you had.
Old Cobra.
Cobra
sights.
You took fingernail polish to mark your pins so you knew which one was which. Man, I wish I could go back and just relive that, man. But just getting into it, getting started was fun. My first deer bow kill was it was after my muzzleloader deer, but I was probably a junior in high school, and it was a doe. I remember that one pretty. We used to hunt a little flat that had a lot of white oaks in it, and of course it's gone now. It's been timbered and stripped, but it was real pretty flat on at the end of a ridge, and they used to the bucks and does would work scrapes there all season, and we've been back when trail cameras came out, you had to take the film to get developed.
Yeah. Old school up there.
And that might have been all we could afford. Maybe, the ones that had the RC car batteries in them. And hey, times were tough back then, man. You're going to buy a couple trail cameras, or you're going to have some dip for the year,
Yeah.
But I remember we had some pictures, and back then, if you had a 6-pointer, man, it was you talked yourself into, that's a big deer, man.
Yeah.
He's just not growing real good. We'll have to shoot him.
Yeah.
But
He's definitely cold.
yeah, I remember that morning 2 does came in 20 yards, and I actually had a buddy that was hunting maybe 30 yards below me, and he shot one of them, and then it ran down right in front of me, and I shot the other one. We doubled that morning. That was my first bow kill. Well, first deer bow kill.
That's awesome. I think my dad still has my first bow that he bought me. I actually got my first bow when I was 15. Oh yeah, I believe I was 15 years old. They bought it from Beverly Gun and Pawn Shop. By the way, if you haven't seen, by the way, we're now new sponsors. By the way, with Aaron Beverly, we picked them up today, so we're blessed to have them, and and enjoying the Antlers Deep crew. But back into the bow. Yeah, like Zach saying, it's the cables. Rob, you probably remember it had the big bracket, and they actually, you used to have it, like he was saying, fingernail polish, but they also had the fiber you had to glue to the side. Remember that? And so back then, when they had releases, they had those. Well, Walmart, I think Walmart still sells them. It's like that thumb release, and
Fail?
kind of hot shot.
Oh, yeah.
And you really had to like squeeze that thing really hard before it didn't even go off, right? So now.
Yeah.
Back then, I started shooting my fingers. I said, I'm not using that stupid thing. So I was shooting my fingers, and I got to where I was pretty decent with it. But I never seen a deer or got in bow range to kill a deer with that. And then I joined the bow club in Berry Creek, and I remember getting my first, I call it newer bow. I didn't know what to think then. It was a True Bear. And I remember I was in actually in Dixon County, and it was a spot coming across, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, so I'm ranging it. Like I said, I'm still new at this bow stuff, trying to shoot it. I got a confession to make, boys. All right, I shot that deer once. Well, I didn't shoot it, I missed, okay? I shot and missed, hardcore miss. I mean, over its shoulder, I mean, literally like 3 yards above. I'm like, man, that was way off. Well, it only ran like 3 yards, Deb, and looked around. I said, man, I got me a dummy deer. Well, I shot again and missed, okay?
Two misses.
2 misses now. 2 misses, that's still not it, though.
Just count.
Just count.
Third time, baby.
No, that's a lie. Third time I missed, okay? And it was right at, I think, 42 yards. I still missed. So that deer just kept running like it'll go 3 yards, 4 or 5 yards. And finally, I looked down and I only had 1 arrow left, okay? And this deer turns and beelines walking straight to him, just looking around and see what's going on. I'm like, man, this deer is done.
Wasn't scared at that point.
No. I didn't.
I'm pretty safe here.
So I finally ranged it 32 yards. And I was like, I gotta hit this deer. So I pulled back, put my 30-yard pin on there, and I held still. I shot and I smoked that deer. Dude, I was so happy. But then again, I was like, it took me 4 shots to hit this deer with a bow. But after that, I learned a whole lot about bow hunting at that point. And I don't let that happen again. I don't do that. Even though y'all seen the first episode of 2021, I did have that. Zach, quit shaking your head. Don't judge me. I did have that miss, but that's a story for another time. Okay, I will recap on that. Go ahead. Leave me alone. Don't leave me alone.
What did you first bow kill?
Well, my first bow kill was kind of interesting. So my first bow, I don't know what model it was. It was a PSE of some sort that we acquired along the way. So, anyways, I hunted a whole year with that bow. Never killed a deer. Well, in the meantime, in the off season, Dad had bought a Matthews Outback second hand off somebody, but a darn good bow. And so then I got his hand me down PSE something. I don't know what the model was then. And I'm pretty sure it was the opening day of that season, the next season. We were set up pretty close to each other, and neither one of us saw any deer that morning. So we decided to get down and kind of scout. It got a little bit warm, and we thought, well, let's walk down the ridge here, see if there's any sign down low or whatever. So we get down, and it's on our lease there, and all that had been stripped too, and so we were above a high wall. So we get down maybe within 50 yards or so of the high wall there, and the point goes up behind us, and we hear something coming around from our left. And so we just stood there, kind of out in the middle of this flat, like, let's see what happens.
Right.
And sure enough, there was a group of does, maybe 6 or 7 of them, came running right around, right in that flat with us. And I picked out the biggest one, drew and fired. Killed her dead. She ran maybe 30 yards, piled up. But most people, you bow hunt from a tree stand.
Right.
I killed my first deer with a bow off the ground, just like with a gun. So it's kind of interesting, but a lot of does and a few small bucks later. I'm yet to kill another one off the ground. I'll say it that way.
There you go.
I'll say this: I'm not a big bow hunter, as y'all know, but the first time I went bow hunting, well, not the first time, but the first time I ever shot and hit a deer, we'll say. No, nobody likes to injure a deer. Okay, let me just get that. No, that's an awful thing. But I was young. I was probably about 13 or 14. There was an old bear. I don't know that it had any let off when you got it back, and so we took it down. I don't know. It was like 40 pounds, was as low as it would go, and I was weak. Okay, let me just. But anyway, so we go. There was a place we would hunt off the ground. It was on a national forest out near Austin Cemetery, if y'all know where that's at. Pretty flat down through there, and anyway, Doe come around through there, and anyway, I draw back. Shot it in the foot. Okay, I seen this thing get hit in the foot. It wasn't the leg. It was like the foot. Right? So I'm sure it lived. But anyway, my uncle, who passed about a year and a half ago, we all knew that I shot it in the foot. But we tracked the deer for a long time. But we never did find it, of course. But anyway, I've killed a couple does and stuff, but I've not bow hunted a whole lot. I hope to get into it. More. I'm reading this comment. Somebody said, Jeannie Burrow said, I've never been deer hunting. I don't know much about it, but how do y'all practice gun safety out in the woods? That's
paramount.
Absolutely.
I think, and you got to be careful who you go with. That's probably the number one rule when you're hunting with somebody is it's unloaded until it's time to shoot.
Yeah,
or,
right.
There's not one chambered until you're in the woods and actually hunting.
Yeah.
They're always unloaded in the vehicles. And you just gotta, I guess, vet out. I've hunted with some people that I don't hunt with anymore because of firearm safety issues.
Right.
Yeah.
You try to educate people as much as you can, but
You just hunt with those people now.
Man, it's always just you just have to make sure that when you're ready to shoot a deer, you got to be sure what's behind it. You don't want to shoot anything that's skyline. You want to make sure you got a safe backdrop. And when you're walking in the woods, you want to make sure your muzzle's disciplined. You're not pointing it at anybody. You're not waving it around, flagging anybody. But and all that comes in, and that if somebody's been doing it their whole life, they kind of catch on to it. The newer folks that are hunting, you teach them, just show them how to do it. And there are a lot of new hunters right now. I think since COVID started, a lot more people have started doing it. I know license sales have went up quite a bit.
Yeah. Right. Well, I'll say this: when I was, growing up, when we were walking in and out of the woods, my papa had me holding my shell in my hand. And with my boys now, when I take them, I bought them a Creedmoor. We take one gun in the woods, and I carry it in and out. When we're set up is the only time. Really, when they're getting ready to shoot is the only time their hands are on that gun. So,
that's just like my golfer when we went hunting. It wasn't one in a chamber or anything until we was actually sitting down, ready to hunt. Then it was one in a chamber and it was on safety, and he kept it by his side the whole time and stuff. So, and for people who are newer hunting and wants to get out and hunt and don't know much about guns, you need to get in a gun safety course and go from there if you want to get out in the woods and just know about gun safety, period, before you pick up a firearm and just go jump in the woods.
I think in Virginia you have to take hunter safety course.
You have to take one. So if you want to get into hunting, you have to take a hunter safety course.
I think most states are like that now. Colorado, you actually have to carry the card with you.
Really?
You don't. It doesn't matter if you've had it. You have to have proof that you've had it on you.
It's good.
Even if you're both.
It's a good thing. I mean, it's informative. Even growing up around, I remember when I took it when I was a kid. It was informative. So
what I like to do with Will, though, I like to take his bullets and carry them without him knowing. Especially if he's hunting a big buck, I like to take him out when he's hunting. But I'm really just watching out for him.
There you go.
I do forget him at the truck from time to time. Funny story.
You did forget them.
Yeah. Well, I forgot my whole gun before. When I was living in Johnson City, right, we had mom and dad have a place down in the Clinch in Hancock County, Tennessee. So I had, I was an in-state Tennessee resident, so I had the in-state license and all that. And we had a great little place down there, turkey hunt. We saw a few good deer there, but turkey hunting was awesome. So anyhow, one morning I get up real early. It took me about an hour to get there, so I was up at like 4 o'clock, got my stuff on, left. I got just on the other side of Kingsport, close, probably close to Gate City. And I kept, and you know how you are in your mind, you're like, man, I feel like I forgot something. So I stopped at a red light. I was stopped at a red light, and I just flipped the light on the cab and looked in the back seat. My turkey bag was there. I had my calls in the front seat. I'm like, what am I forgetting? I was like, hey, moron, where's your gun? Yeah, so I had to turn around and go back to Johnson City, and I got my shotgun. And I got there just a little bit after daylight. We didn't kill anything that morning, but it was kind of funny. Yeah, run right off and left it.
I'll say this. I know we could sit here telling stories on that, so I won't tell any more of this. But talking about gun safety, I was starting to get a little bit older and get a little more, independence with my gun and things. But my mom, I don't know when they started doing this, but that Remington Model 700 I had, still have it, still hunt with it. But it has a little pin that you stick on the side right near the bolt and turn it to lock, lock the firing pin. And so anyway, my mom made me do that when I put it up the previous year. So I go, it's rifle season, I'm excited. There was a good sized buck. I had never killed one that big at that point in my life. And I'm getting down, I got me a good rest. And click, and I'm like, what's going on? I'm panicking, man. This deer just standing there, don't know I'm in the world, and click. And so anyway, my uncle thought that was hilarious. He loved it. But anyway, so that's a good point. You can always safety. You can lock that out, but just forget to unlock it, or don't forget to unlock it next time you use it.
Do they still do hunter safety in schools? Well, I mean, we had that in 8th grade.
That was really good too.
It was actually awesome.
Costco did that, and I don't think anymore that they do. I think it's something kind of like driver's license that you got to go out and get on your own now.
Yeah, it's
Locally, the state, I believe the state does. I know used to in Pound they did a course maybe 2 or 3 times a year. Mm-hmm. I think you pay like $15 to go, and it's like a 1-day thing. You go and they run you through it. You can also do it online. Yeah. I know Dad, before we went to Colorado, he had to get his hunter safety card, which he had hunter safety. No, I'll take that back. He hadn't had hunter safety. He probably is. Dad's rare. Hey.
It wasn't that long ago. I was going to say he had hunter safety about 40 or 50 years ago.
Well, actually, when he first started hunting, he didn't have to have hunter safety license.
Right.
And he was always kind of grandfathered in. And so when we come time to go to Colorado and try to get all our paperwork and everything right, I was like, man, you got to get that hunter safety. And he took an online course, which is free. You can Google it and find there's a lot of them out there you can take for free. But it's definitely worth your time. If you've never hunted, to go and get that hunter safety will teach you a lot, that you need to know.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Man,
how long have we been going? Oh, sorry.
No, you're good, man.
About a little over 30 minutes.
Go ahead.
42 minutes.
Go ahead, Nathan.
I was just going to say, you're fine, man. I was just going to say, as far as our first bow kill goes,
sorry.
My first deer kill was actually with a bow. And like I said, it was when I was 21. Awesome. I had just moved to West Virginia. And
West Virginia.
Yeah. and like Zach said, growing up, we really never saw many deer around here. And when I moved to West Virginia, man, like I was seeing deer every time I'd go in the woods. And the opening day in 2016, it all came together. I had my camera rolling and everything, and I killed a doe at about 5 yards. First ever deer kill, and it's just I've been hooked ever since then. And I really like to bow hunt more than anything now. So
amen to that.
Oh yeah.
So
That's awesome.
West Virginia, a lot of those counties are bow only.
Yeah.
Man, I got a lot of deer up there.
Good county there.
There's a ton of deer up there. Especially we was where I lived. It's 5 minutes from Ohio, so everybody talks about how great Ohio is. Well, right there's West Virginia on the border, and it's just as good. So.
I tell you, if you don't bow hunt or muzzleloader hunt in Virginia, I'm sure a lot of other states. I mean, you got 2 weeks of rifle season.
Yeah, so that opens up a lot of opportunities. So.
Yeah.
And those muzzleloaders, they're making them so good now. I mean, shoot.
Yeah.
If you're going to rifle hunt, you might as well muzzleloader hunt.
Yeah. I think we talked. I think I might have packed a rifle 1 or 2 times and a muzzleloader one time this year. I think I was around the rest of them, but which didn't really work out too well for me. But
I'm not saying nothing. I'm just gonna keep quiet.
I don't know this story, so I'm just.
It was a long year. A long year.
So, is there any more questions out there, or fans want to say, or
let's see.
want to answer real quick before we wrap this up?
I don't see any. I may have. I don't see any more questions.
Okay.
So.
Sweet. Hey, we want to thank you everybody for tuning in and watching our first episode live. Y'all been a blessing to us and stuff, and we just thank y'all for the support in our community and stuff. And if you haven't yet, go like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and then subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's all on Antlers Deep Outdoors. We definitely be doing more stuff like this, and we can't wait to keep sharing our process and our journey with our community here. So thank y'all from Alabama, all everybody from Alabama, Kentucky. I think there's some people in there from Kentucky. Thank y'all.
Anybody from Knoxville?
No, nobody's on there from Knoxville.
I
Okay?
saw the hype train on there.
They're all
Listen, we got some Tennessee fans up here.
they're all hanging out with their sisters.
So roll tide. But anyways,
You do have one more question.
Yeah, you got one more question.
okay, let's hear it.
It's for you. It says, my question is, what are you feeding me for dinner? I'll let you figure out who commented that.
Well, it's either my mom or April. So
It's April, yeah.
it's April. What am I feeding her for
I
dinner?
heard you something. You gonna go get her fishtails or
I
something?
thought you was buying us all food.
Man, what?
That's what I
You know
thought.
what? You know what? See, what happened was, I forgot my wallet. Nah, I'm just messing with you. Wherever she wants, that's my lady, and she supports me. So wherever she wants to eat, I go get it.
Hey, I posted our YouTube channel, so we're trying to be more active on there this year.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially coming up in turkey season, I'm pumped. But I posted that in the comments, so if you click on there and click subscribe, and you'll get notified when we do post a video. And we may, and I think we may go for a few minutes. We're going to go ahead and end this, I guess, if you're ready.
Yep.
But we're going to record a little bit more, so you may see more of this episode on YouTube. We may break it up in a few segments and things. So definitely check it out. But we appreciate people are saying they loved hearing our stories, and it's good. We'll definitely have to do this again. It's a lot of
You
fun.
know, Nathaniel's gonna have to do a beard care segment.
I believe so. He has the perfect beard.
It's like perfect.
that's a grown man beard out there.
You got hung up on and off for 2 weeks, and this is what happened.
I don't know. I think Will's definitely there. Will's that lumberjack beard right there.
Which one's that thick?
Go up on and off with you, man. We'll get
All right, he did live in West Virginia, so
Again, West Virginia. Listen, I ain't saying nothing. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. All right, but yeah, thank y'all. God bless. Y'all have a wonderful night. Tune in. We'll let y'all know when episode 2 is gonna come out.